Fantastic. So literally the ecosystem around you was the trigger, it looks like, right? So, yeah.
Yes.
Uh, when I look at this venture of yours, MovingWalls, uh, absolutely, you've spoken about it. I've kind of read about it everywhere. Your inspiration from Blade Runner and Minority Report, and I've seen a lot of articles around it. But the most important thing that I really believe that I think was the key trigger was this whole area that the out of home media was largely fragmented, and the fact that it needed kind of a platform to do better planning of all these assets and optimize the measurements and the spends around it. So was that something that was one of the key observations and something that you saw in this industry?
Yes, Swami, even to kind of rewind back to the remark that you said that the environment shaped my thinking. There's a beautiful song by Elvis Costello where the word goes like this, which is, "Who left his fingerprint on my imagination?" Right? So all of our imagination are touched by the experiences that we have. So, and to bring it back to context, and I can give you many of them, including the latest one. So maybe about 6 weeks ago, I landed at JFK Airport and was traveling with my wife, but she had taken a flight a day earlier because I had some meetings. And the first billboard that I noticed when I landed in JFK Airport was, Chicago, the musical, right? And I know it's a 20-year-old musical, but it's just that we were together in New York after, I don't know, a decade or more. And the first thing that popped to my mind was, hey, she loves the movie and she would love the musical. So immediately I sent her a WhatsApp saying, Friday night, Chicago, the musical, shall I go ahead and book? And she said, wow, you remembered, right? So what happens is, and I can tell you many such stories where what you see in the real world influences, but what you do is you whip out your phone and you start searching for it. And that's the natural, instinct everyone has, right? So, again, similarly, in Bangkok, we are driving around and I see the Wax Museum billboard with my family. Immediately, I pulled my phone out and said, where is it and how do we get there? And so when you look at it, that's a consumer way of how you deal with things that you see and experience. And then you look at it a bit more scientifically, being in the marketing media industry and the data industry now. Now I immediately know when I do the search, Google search gets an attribution that people who are looking for searching this, but people forgot what made me search. And this was, for me, that's how I see the environment around us. They all have the ability to influence our mind and influence our action. So it's priming our subconscious, while in the activity that we do then, if we get interested, is to either search for it or go to the website or, call or whatever it is. But suddenly there is a bit of an attribution gap in terms of what made us. And sometimes it's a one-to-one, and sometimes it's many times you would have to get into the person's mind before that attribution kicks in. So yes, that was, I think, the primary driver for me to say, hey, this whole, Minority Report view of the world, but more importantly, my own personal experiences where what I see kind of shapes my thinking. And then I looked at the nature of the industry, right? I mean, from 2006, I've been involved in some shape or form with this industry that we call as the outer net. But when I looked at it, I looked at the nature of the industry, very low tech. And if I don't get killed for saying it, the joke was that the digital industry has become, the old advertising industry where madmen have become mathmen.
Yeah.
But in the out of home industry, it's still mafia man. He hasn't changed, right?
Yeah.
so so that kind of fascinated me, that it's low tech, it's fragmented. Perhaps there is an opportunity for a tech company to come in and start providing solutions. So I think every bit of that, I think a belief that in my own world, it is shaping my thinking. And second is, yes, it's low tech, which means I can create value. And it was low tech. I would say it's made a lot of progress. But when I looked at it, it was low tech. And obviously, the third is it was fragmented, which meant that there was a need for a unifying platform of sorts.